Now, this next segment really is forward looking because it's close to the end of the year. There are all these parties, whether it's a Christmas party or a New Year's Eve party, and we want to think about how to be inclusive. Pavar Snipe is a comedian who really is quite funny, but beyond that, she's also a disabled American who is looking at the world through a different lens and showing how we can all come together. I want to show you some of her clips. Before I do, Pavar, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Merry Christmas or Merry Day after Christmas. Happy holidays.
I know, right? We have two clips because I know I celebrate for Christmas Eve, and this is the big Christmas day where everybody is sort of either winding down or walking towards that last big holiday meal. So we have two clips, one where you impersonate Lenny Kravitz and another where you're on stage. Let's take a listen.
Great.
60 years old. That's right. This is 60. I know it's hard to believe. My face is smoother than that of a baby kangaroo's butt. I've got mansions around the world, and all of my girlfriends look like they were generated by some type of freaky deaky AI. People come up to me all the time and they say, "But Lenny, do you feel 60?" And I say, "Hi, I'm Lenny Kravitz."
And you say, it depends, because it's a commercial for Depends diapers, adult diapers. You sort of really bring it home in the sense that, we age, we all become different. And, if you live long enough, you're going to be in the category of being disabled. But how does your disability change the way you see the world, if at all?
Well, disability and the relationships that disabled people have with their disability is different for everyone, right? So, me as a comedian and as a writer and producer and now disability advocate, my purpose is to think about how I can use my disability to show people that there really are no obstacles. It's not to be inspiration porn, which is a phrase that we often use in the disability community where people with disabilities are praised for just doing everyday things. It's not about that. It's about going out there and, overcoming obstacles and ignoring stereotypes and deciding that what I can do is what I decide I can do, regardless of what other people think. And so that's the main message that I try to put forward in my comedy. So even if I'm doing a piece like, me playing Lenny Kravitz or me doing an impression of Harriet Tubman, which is something else I have, it's really about showing that a disabled people can play these roles without always having to talk about the disability in the role.
You've said a lot about exclusion, how it isn't intentional. Where do you see people overlooking accessibility, especially this time of year where people want to be together?
Well, that's a great question. Since I've been a disability advocate and doing the type of work that I've been doing over the past few years, I have opened my own eyes to ways that I can be ableist, if you will, or just, working in a way that suits my needs and not necessarily thinking about what other people need. So, for example, my company, Limitless Productions, we just had our first holiday party. And because we have so many wonderful friends in the disability community, we were really in tune to thinking about what is it that we can do to make sure that everybody is comfortable and they can get in and have a good time, right? So when we were thinking about venues, we at first chose one venue because they told us that they were wheelchair accessible, but we were like, maybe we should go to the site and make sure. And we did. And when we got there, we saw, yeah, the building is accessible, but the bathroom is not wheelchair accessible, right? So that's something you have to think about. So then we decided to do it at another location. And then we had to think about how much space there would be for the amount of wheelchair users we were going to have. We also had to think about making sure that the tables, the food stations for the tables, were low enough that people would be able to reach the food without having to ask for help. You also want to think about making sure that it's food that everybody can eat easily, little bite-sized pieces of food, if you will. Another huge thing that I always try to make sure, because I'm somebody who has dexterity issues because of my rheumatoid arthritis, you want to have glassware with stems.
Stems. I like this. I always thought it was just for fashion, but you're saying it's actually very
Yeah.
useful for folks with dexterity issues like yourself.
Yeah, it's very important. Like getting into if you're specifically trying to have a wonderful New Year's Eve celebration or any celebration that you want to go into in 2026. These are things that you can think about to make sure that your family and friends who are disabled can come in and have fun like everybody else. Another important thing, straws.
Straws.
Drinking straws are imperative for a lot of people who have dexterity issues. You might have problems, lifting a cup up to your mouth, holding a cup. You want to have straws. in this day and age, I have these lovely glass straws that I bought online that are reusable. You can buy reusable straws, you can buy metal straws, you can buy bamboo straws, so that your people who come in can be comfortable and enjoy their party beverage. Another great thing, if you're going to have a New Year's Eve party, when that ball drops and the clock strikes 12, you want to make sure that you can have people celebrate in a way that may not be overwhelming for people who have sensory issues.
Ah.
Maybe think about something like having a quiet room off to the side where they have, tons of things that can help them be comfortable. So maybe you'll have some sensory things. You might have fidget spinners, things that are tactile for people to touch. You can
Is that
also
realistic though? Because there's so many people who live in a world where they don't have those accommodations. Because we think about New Year's Eve, we think about making a lot of noise, being very close, being overly stimulated. But you're saying
Yeah.
that you got to look at the other side. And I just
look at
want
the
to.
other side. And there's other ways. I mean, you can have a silent party, but it's not really a silent party. It's a party where everyone has their own individual wireless headsets where music is played, and then people who want to hear the music can hear the music through their headsets or headphones. People who don't want to hear the music don't have to listen to it. So you can have a disco party for everyone in that kind of way. I was going to say one thing that we say in the disability community that's really, really important is nothing about us without us, which means consult your friend who might be disabled, consult your older family member. When you do your digital invitations, send them an invite and actually ask on the invitation, is there anything that we can do to make this more accessible for you? And your disabled friend or family member will truly appreciate it because it's not a question that is often asked.
Thank you so much, Pavar. You've given us so many laughs, but also a lot to think about as we go toward the end of the year. You have a wonderful holiday.
Same to you. And you can get more tips on what to do for your inclusive New Year's Eve party at limitlesslaughs.com.
Thank you.